Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial I want to show you how to create a digital business card like the one displayed on your screen, and when you bring in the mouse, it should be able to turn the color. So when it is outside, when it is not being hovered on, it is just looking white like that, but when you click, when you just bring the mouse on top of it, it turns the color to be blue in color. So this is what you want to do today. Follow me from the start to finish so that you can be able to create your own digital business card. Let's dive in and then see of how you can go about it. The first thing that you need to do is to create two files. We have got the index.html and then we have styles.css. So how do you create this file? First of all, you need to have a folder. You need to have a folder on your desktop or whatever gadget you are using to program. So here I've created a folder called business card. So inside the business card, I've been able to include index.html and CSS and styles.css. How did I go about it? I just clicked on VS Code, and then I went to file, and then I go to new file, and then I just type there index.html. I just type there index.html and then I press enter. The moment I press enter, it is going to ask me where I'm supposed to save that. So remember, you should have created first the folder. Once you have created the folder, once it has asked you for that, you just navigate to the folder that you created. So for example, you just go to desktop, and then you go, for example, to business, and then you are supposed to do what? To create file. So index will go in there, but for now, since I've already created it, I'm just going to cancel. After you have created index.html, the next file you're supposed to create is styles.css. So you just click on file, and then you go to new file, and then you type here where they have said select file type or enter file name. So what you're supposed to do, you just type there styles.css, and then you press enter. The moment you press enter, it is going to fetch, or is going to fetch the current folder where you are saving your documents. So it's going to fetch this particular folder, and in that particular folder of business card, that is where you are going to store in the styles.css. Remember to use the file extension. Make sure you use .html and make sure you use .css. Yeah, so if you don't use it, it will not be able to work for you. Yeah, now the next thing that you want to do is just to create now the HTML program, HTML structure. So basically, you need to start with the angle bracket, and then doc type will appear there. You just click on it, you go down there, and then you just type there HTML lang, and then we say the language that is going to be used there will be English, and then we are going to open the angle bracket, and then we're going to say head. Okay, in the head part, you're going to say title, and title we're going to say digital business card. So that is my title for this project, digital business card. Okay, now after that, you can just go ahead and bring in, you just want to bring in the font, the Google font that you are going to use. So I've chosen one font that you're going to use, and this font is called Pop-in. So I've already copied the link. So if you missed my video, I created a video on how you can be able to import the Google font into your web page. Kindly go to my YouTube channel and check that video on how you can go about it. But for me, I've already copied it. But if it is not copied, I can just go straight to Google font. Okay, and then I just go to Pop-in. So Pop-in is there. I can just go to that, and then I click on get that, and then I just copy. Yeah, so if you missed the video on how to do that, kindly go to my YouTube channel and check that video on how you can be able to import the Google font. So for me, I've already done that. So you can see it is already added in that particular case. Now the next thing that you need to do is to link the HTML and the CSS. So how do you do that? You just create some space there and you use the word link, and then you say rel equal to, and then you say style sheet, yeah, then you just say href, then that double quotation mark, then dot slash styles.css. What am I saying in this case? What I'm saying in this case is that in the current directory we are going to create a file, we are going to fetch a file called styles.css. Which current directory are we going to use? Which current directory are we using? Business card. Okay, so this index and styles.css are in the same directory, on the same folder called business card. That's why I'm using dot slash. But if you are using CSS in a different folder, or you have saved it in a different folder, then you should be able to explicitly tell us which folder is that, stroke then styles.css. But for me, I'm using this because it's in the current folder. Now I've been able to capture the font that I'm going to use in my simple business card, and then I've been able also to capture the styles files that I'm going to use. Now let's jump into our body section. And then let's create the first so we are going to use the div. So we are going to create the div, and then this div we are going to give it a class name of we're just going to give it a simple class name of a card. Digital. Let's just use the word digital. Okay, so I'm going to give it the class name of digital, and then this is our main container. So inside this main container, the first thing that you want to do, just want to add some image. I just want to add some image. src is equal to. Now inside this particular folder, let me go back to my folder. Inside this folder, I want to create a folder called image. I want to add a folder called images, and in these images I have got a picture that I want to use in that particular digital business card. So I'll go to my downloads. I've not moved it, so I'm going to find it. The picture is here. So I have got a picture that I want to use in my business card. This is the picture that I want to use, this one. So I'll just copy this picture. I'll copy this picture, go to my desktop, and then I'm going to move it in the images. Yeah, I'm going to move in the images, and I'm going to use a name called passport. I can just write in short pass, and remember is of PNG type, So once I've done that, I just go back to my code, and then I just say image source, and then into double quotation, I can just say images stroke, and then I'm supposed to, already you can see it is just giving me whatever is in that particular folder, so pass.png. So that is the name of that. And then we were supposed also to give an alternative name. For example, that particular page, when it's not loaded, you are supposed to give it for example, the image is not loaded, we are supposed to give a name. So I'm going to give a name Titus Wise. So that is the name that is supposed to be displayed in case the image does not load properly. And then we can give it a class like, let's give a class like avatar. Let's say avatar, and then we can close that particular image tag or image tag. Now after doing that, we are supposed to create another div. Inside that particular div. So remember, this is our main container. Inside this particular main container, we are going to create a div inside there. Okay, and in this div we are going to do the following. We are just going to add some kind of text into it. So we are going to add some text, heading 3, and you are going to give the name of that particular person. So in this particular case, the name of that particular person is Titus Wise, and then you are supposed to add the second part, that is a paragraph. So we are going to have the paragraph, and in paragraph I'm going to add my area of specialization. I'm just going to say that web developer, and then you can also say that you are graphic designer, and then I'm also going to say that I'm also going to say that I'm a certified TVET trainer. So that is my area of specialization: web developer, graphic designer, and certified TVET trainer. Then after doing that, we just add another heading 4, and the heading 4 we are just going to add there the town where I'm located. So I'm just going to say Nairobi, Kenya. So that is my town, Nairobi, Kenya. That is my town. And then I'm also going to add my contact details. So in case somebody wants to contact you, he needs to know where he can be able to contact you. So you can just put the word M, standing for mobile. You can just say mobile 0790 1903 85. And then for phone, for email, you can just start with the word E, or maybe you can use also that separator. Okay, and then you just say E, standing for email, and the email you can just say that it is ubitech at gmail.com. Okay, so those are some of the areas that somebody can be able to reach out to me, maybe for projects, and maybe he can be able to contact you. Maybe he has some projects that he wants you to do, so you should be able to add the contact details on your digital business card. Then after that, you can as well be able to we have been able to capture all the areas that we want to be contained in that particular business card. So if I save this and I just go to my web browser, okay, and then I just load. Okay, let me go to my folder. You go first to your folder. So this is my folder. In my folder, when I double click here, you can see what is happening. This is just pure HTML. The picture is there, the wording that you have been able to do is there, but it is not styled. Yeah, this is just pure HTML, but it is not styled. So we need to do the styling on it so that it can look nice and presentable to the clients. So how do you go about it? You go to our style our file, and then we just want to style this particular business card very quickly. So the first thing that you need to style is the body, and in the body we just want to style the margin. First of all, you want to work with the margin. We are going to give a margin of 20 pixels. We are going to give a margin of 20 pixels. And then the font family that you're going to use in this particular body, remember we have already imported the font in my HTML. So we just want to say we are going to use Poppins, and remember the fonts are supposed to be in double quotation, and then you just write there Poppins, and then you are supposed to say sans serif. So that's the font that I'm going to use in this particular case. After doing that, we move to our next part. How do you want the image to appear? Remember we said that the image class is supposed to be avatar here. So that avatar we need to be able to style it also. So we are going to style it. So we are just going to say avatar, and then we can be able to give the following measurement. We just say that the width we want it to be 250 pixels. Okay, and then we want the border radius of that particular avatar, class avatar, border radius to be 10 pixels. Yeah, So that is it about that particular class. So remember, we are talking about the image that you have just added. This is the image, and then the image, we have got a class in front here. This is the class called avatar. So this particular class, in order for you to access it, we use a dot. If you missed a video on CSS selectors, then you should be able to go and watch. Every time you talk about a class, you start with a dot followed by the class name. Yeah, so we are specifying the property and then the value. In this case, we are saying that width 250, and then border radius, it should be 10 pixels. Now we move to the next part, whereby you are going to define the card. Yeah, so the card is also using the not card, actually we are supposed to use digital. Yeah, remember we used the word digital. If I go back, you can see my class, my main container is using the word digital as the class name. So in this case, we just say dot digital, and then in this particular class, we are going to do the following. We are going to add the width of my div to be 500 pixels. Yeah, 500 pixels, and then inside there we are also going to add the margin to be 200 pixels, and then auto. Yeah, so what am I saying in this case? That top down, I want it to be 200 pixels margin, but on the width I want it to be auto. That's what I'm trying to say in this case. It should be automatic. Then display, I want it to be flex. Yeah, so I created a tutorial on how to use this, how to use flexbox. So there is that tutorial on how to use the flexbox and what are some of the things that you need to adhere to when you're creating a flexbox. Yeah, basically it means a flexible box. Yeah, so if you missed that video, you can go to my YouTube channel. There's that video that enable you to understand more about the flexbox, but in this case I'm going to use the flexbox. Now another property that appears in the flexbox when you're using the flexbox is what you call a line item. In the flexbox, there's that part whereby they talks about align items, and in this case you are going to center align the item. You are going to center align the item. Yeah, and then we are going also to justify the content. Okay, justify content is also another property that is there in the flexbox, and we are going to say that space around. So what are we saying in this case? That I want to put some space in between or around that particular box that you have just created. Yeah, or that particular element that you're trying to apply the flex box on. Yeah, so we want to make sure that you have some space around it. And then the padding, okay, the padding we want to use 20 pixels. The padding, let's try 20 pixels. And then the background we can just use let's just say RGB. The background is RGB, and then you can say red, we are going to use that, and then green we are going to give it also that, and then blue we are also going to give that. Okay, so let me save this and let me check the way my code is looking like. Yeah, so let me check. Okay, there are some kind of adjustment already. Things have already started working, whereby we have been able to adjust the size. We are applying the flexbox, and then we have said that the flexbox is enabling us to align the item at the center. So the item has been moved at the center, and then we have also been able to place some space around that particular flexbox, or this particular item that you're going to apply the flexbox on. Yeah. Now after doing that, we have been able also to apply padding. So padding basically is the distance between the content and the edge of the document, and therefore you can see we have 20 pixels added in all these parts of this particular div. Yeah. and then we have applied also the background color, and then the background color in this case we have been able to give it RGB color 221 221 221 221 like that. Yeah. Now when you proceed to the next property under the same container on the same digital, so we want to change the color. I want just to change the font color to black. I just want to change the font color to black. So make sure that the font color for whatever is in that particular div is black. Then after doing that, also we want to add some box shadow. We just want to add some box shadow. I don't want it to be so shouting at the background the way it is. It is so white. It doesn't show some kind of layering. You just want to put some kind of layering between the background and our business card. And that's why I'm going to use the box shadow. And then I'm going to say 2 pixels, then 4 pixels, okay, and then 15 pixels, yeah, all round. So how it is going to look like, then we are giving it the pixels that are going to be used. And then in this case we are going to say RGBA, and then we are going to give it the colors that we want them to have. So we are going to start with red. The red we are going to give it a 0. Green we are going to give it a color of 0 also. Then alpha also we are going to give it a color. Blue I'm going to give it a color of 0, and then alpha we are going also to give it a color of 0. So it should be able to give the black color. Yeah. So we are going also to do text alignment. Text align inside that particular container. We are just working on that particular container. So we are going to say center. The text we want it to be at the center. Okay, and then we are also going to apply the font size. The font size of this content of this particular business card, we want to use 20 pixels. So 20 pixels is going to be applied there. And then we also want to apply the border radius. We also want to apply the border radius around that. We don't want it to have the sharp corners. You can see it has got very sharp corners. These are very sharp corners here. We want to make it look artistic. Yeah? So we don't want it to have sharp corners. That's why we are applying the border radius. So we are going to apply the border radius of let's try 10 pixels. Let's try 10 pixels, and then we'll be able to see how it happens. Then we also want to apply the transition property. There. Okay, so how long does it take to transit from the whatever it is being displayed, and then when somebody maybe want to see the changes? Okay, so transition basically is moving from the current state into the new state. So it's we just need it to have 0.5 seconds. Just takes 0.5 seconds to transit. Okay, so if I save this and then I refresh my business card, then you should be able to see the corners now are not very sharp. Also the content in my website, or the content in my digital business card has been well aligned, center aligned. You can see it is center aligned, and also the photo is well placed, and then everything is falling into place. And you can see also there are some kind of shadows around this particular business card around it, so that you can have some kind of distinction between the business card and the background of that web page. Okay, so the last thing that I just want to do, and then my business card will be ready for use, is just to do some kind. When I hover over this particular business card, I should be able to see the color change. So I just want to say that I apply on the same business card. The class is digital, but I'm interested with a certain property called hover. So that's how you can go to define exactly what you want to do. So in this particular main container, the main container I've just created called digital, I'm going to apply the following properties on hover when the mouse hovers over this particular business card. Now the first thing that should happen is transform. So I need to transform. Now in terms of transformation, I want to scale it. Okay, there's some scale that I want to use. I want to use a scale of 1.2. I want to use a scale of 1.2. Now when it scales up, the next thing that I want to do is to change the background. I want to change the background to, maybe I can give it a color of let me try RGB, and then let me test my color. So I can use RGB, and then let me just choose the color that I want to use. So I work with blue so much, so I think I can select a blue color here. Yeah, let me use that blue. I think that blue is okay for me. Okay, then after doing that, I just go to the color of my font. When I hover, the color of the font is supposed to be white. So when I hover, the color should be white for the font. So when I do that and then I save, I go to my business card and then I just refresh it. Boom, there we have it. So when I bring in the cursor, you can see there is some kind of transformation. That is 1.2 transformation. Then it is just something that is going to be brought close to you. Okay, and then you can also be able to see that the font of this particular business card have remained to be white in color. All of it has been turned to be white in color. So that's how you can be able to create a very simple business card. So you can be able to design this on your own, and then you can also be able to add even in your CV as part of the project that you've been able to accomplish. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly remember to support me by clicking on subscribe button, and also you can turn the notification button on so that when I create the next project, you will be notified. Bye bye for now.